Hello Flosstube, my name is Katie. Welcome to my page, Red's Stitchery. With the same handle, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok with more updates. But hi, welcome to my second video, and let's see what I stitched in this week. I think I beat my own personal records and I worked, if I counted right, I think it was 9 whips, including 6 old ones, 3 new starts, and 1 finish. It was a very busy week. I do have a reason for it, why I have so many starts, finish, why so busy? I have a reasoning for that. And the reasoning would be, me and my stitcher friend would do a no shopping, anything cross-stitched related challenge for 3 months. We started March 3rd, so it's been a month, and it's not a low buy, it's no buy at all. Doesn't matter if it's a good sale, doesn't matter if we're going for a trip and there's something we find, we cannot shop anything cross-stitch related for 3 months. And it's been hard, and I think I'm compensating with lots of starts that desire to go shopping for cross-stitching. If we do shop, we do have punishment, which is we have to sell something from our stash equally to the price we spend. And my stash is so dear to me. I'm not ready to give up anything that I have, so I'm holding strong. I'm trying. So the reason why I have so many new starts, I pretty much have a new start each week so far, it's because yeah, I'm compensating. I do believe a shopping for cross stitch and actually cross stitching, it's two different but very close related hobbies, and I do miss shopping for cross stitching a lot because I love that game I invented in my head where I go to eBay or Facebook Market and find amazing deals. So I cannot do it right now because it's very tempting, so I just try to not even open those apps because I know myself. Why I needed that challenge? It's because last year I really got into cross stitching, and my stash from like 2-3 kits went to almost 200 in 1 year, and I think it's a lot. So I'm really trying to concentrate on cross stitching what I have, to use what I have. For example, if I want some kind of metallic, I have to use something from my stash because why else? I have so many things. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Here we go. Let's see what I cross stitched this week. And let's start with this whip right here. This is Lovely Victorian Home by Dimensions. This is a regular collection. This is not a gold collection. I do have an older version one, the one that you have to separate the floss by yourself, not the new release they made. This is my main project of this year. The goal for the March was to stitch till 45%. I'm trying to stitch right now 15% per month. And the goal for the month of March was achieved. I am exactly at 45% right now. Somebody in the previous video, and thank you so much for doing it, left a comment why I live strength like this. I called it lazy parking. There's one most popular way to finish your thread. It's to flip your work and put your thread underneath all the stitches you just made. I don't like this method either way, no matter what I'm stitching. I just don't like it. Very rarely I use it. I do think it's a waste of time. And also, if you like me, when I make my stitches, I kind of hold my thread very tight. So my stitches are very tight, and when I flip it and I'm trying to put my needle underneath those stitches, On this side, on the front side, you can totally see where I did it because it's even more tight. So this is just a lazy method for parking your thread. For example, let's see. So let's see on this example right here, because especially right now the sun is also behind my project, so you can see a little bit behind what's going on. So over here you can see that I finished my floss. That's it, I finished it. This right here was the last stitch. Then underneath on another side I took it a little bit farther and came out over here. So now when I'm going to grab a next floss and work on this piece right here, with the stitches that I'm going to do over here, I'm going to secure that thread on another side. This is just a lazy method for parking your thread. There's a lots of different methods and I use them all. It's just an Aida cloth. This for me, it's the most convenient and the most perfect one, because when I'm going to do the stitches right here, I'm just gonna cut this one off and I don't need to flip the hoop, spend the time on it, over straighten my floss. This is the most comfortable way for me. It's maybe not most presentable, but this is working whip. This is comfortable for me and that's what I'm doing. On some of my whips you will see this, on some not, because some of them very easy and other ways of securing the thread it's more convenient. If you'd like to see all the ways how I fix and start my thread, please let me know in the comments and I'll try to make a video that dedicated just for that. But this right here, everything that you see is just me and my lazy parking thread method. But anyway, let's come back to my progress. 45% exactly done. Next month, not next, this month already, end of April, this project should be done 60%. Cannot say that word right. And so far, here is the progress. I just realized I don't remember the name of this one, but I believe it's the Snowfall, Winter Snowfall. I purchased this last year in August and I started in January of this year, and I think the full stitch part I finished in February, and this week I was working on my beading. So over here you can see white beads. Over here it was not a part of the chart, but I decided to do this opal see-through kind of ones. And of course the main tree, it's the silver beads. That's the ones that chart are asking for. Obviously when I'm going to finish the beading, because there's lots and lots of more beading going to be over here, beading going to be over here, all this, it's one big huge beading part. A lot of work still needs to be done. I am going to try to press it afterwards too, because yeah, I'm stitching on a 32 count Lugana. I think it's a storm. As you can see, it's like uneven, like a hand-dyed texture. Purchased it in Soul Lake. They used to have a cross-stitch store. Unfortunately, they closed now. But that's what I did this week. This row over here, and the main part of the work, it's beading. So what I like about this chart, they give you lots of options of what kind of color combinations you can use, and I chose blue. And the beads, they also give you combination of white and golden or white and silver. I decided to go with the silver to give that frosty effect of the winter, and I really like it. There is another conversion in blue DMC colors. Unfortunately, I don't remember the numbers, but it has more like purplish to it, and I wish I would do in those, but I did not have those colors in stock in my stash, so I chose those blue, which I'm still very happy with. You will say, Katie, just go to the store and buy those colors, but no, I'm very dedicated this year to use my stash I am on no shopping right now, but still, even if I could shop, I still want to use as much as I can of what I have. So there's another project that I work. So the stitching, again, the stitching part I've done a long time ago. I just work on the beading this week. Hopefully I will have time to finish all the beading next week, and I'm going to have another finish, but we'll see. It's kind of hard to stitch snowy projects when it's very, very nice outside, but I just need one evening, and I hope I will find that strength in me, and I hopefully will stitch it. I'm just going to grab all my whips without any chronological order. I just put them kind of in a pile, and that's it. This is Night Walk by Riolis. Couple hours later, here's the progress. Stitching with wool, it's not as easy as a regular floss, so that's why it's taking me so long. But I'm very happy with this progress. Nothing changed since the video I just showed you. This is double difficult for me. This is not my first wool. See, the floss is completely different because it's acrylic wool. And in the past, many years ago, when I just started cross-stitching, that was not a problem for me, but lately, I don't know why, I cannot for the life of me work with wool acrylic. And as you can see, same parking method I use over here, because this one, it's wool and it's acrylic. It's very silky, almost like obviously it's not a silk, but it has this very like texture that if I try to do the underneath method, the one that I talk about, this like the one that I don't like to use, on a wool it looks even worse than on a regular floss. So same reason, I just park the flosses, so the stitches that I'm going to do on top, like over here, going to cover the floss from the other side, and when I get to the point, I'm just gonna cut it off, and don't stress about it, don't worry about it. And yeah, wool on black, I don't know what I was thinking about. The preview of this work totally spin my attention, and I just didn't even thought for a second that stitching on a black with the floss that I didn't really like, well, cannot reverse it now, have to finish. But as you can see on my little video from that I put before, I stitched it outside, and that just helped a lot, because even right now you can see on a sunny weather, it's so much easier to work with wool acrylic. So I think I'm going to keep stitching this project outside. So this is definitely a fall season, and right now I'm not in the mood for this season, but I still want to keep, you know, at least little progress during the year until the season for fall cross stitching comes. So I've decided at the end of each month, like 29th, 30th, 31st, one of those days, I absolutely have to grab this project and work on it. So that's what I did. On the 29th of March, I worked a little bit on this one. Let's move on to the next one. I am a Harry Potter fan. If you're also a Harry Potter fan, let me know in the comments. There is a Russian designer, Anna Pitunova, and she makes these flags that technically you can cross-stitch on anything you want, but I am enjoying cross-stitching on plastic. I purchased this one on AliExpress because it's so far the only one place where I can find 14 count plastic. Usually like Hobby Lobby, even Amazon, they're all like super huge 7th and 10th count, but I stitch. So these were already half stitch, but I finished both of them this week. And as you can see, very lightly started 2 new ones. Both of them were missing some big patches of stitching, and then back stitching were done this week. There would be 12 in total. I have 10 more to go. my goal is to finish all of them by October, because in my head, October, it's the month of Harry Potter. I'm rewatching it nonstop, and I really would like to decorate my room with these flags. I think I found already on Amazon, but again, I'm doing a challenge right now where I cannot do any cross-stitch related shopping. I found self-adhesive purple felt, and I think that's what I'm going to use, because most of these flags, they are going to have purplish background. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take jewelry making little hoops and poke them through over here, and take a rope and just put them and decorate my room with those. I love it. I'm very, very happy with it. As you can see so far, my taste is very different from something very cartoonish, like almost childish, to some beautiful vintagey work. You will see more of it in the future. I do like to use different types of cross stitching in my rotation, from something modern to very, very vintage. Like recently I discovered booklets by Dimensions. They're like back in 90s. I couldn't find them online to buy them, even though if I couldn't buy them at the moment. But Pinterest, it's very easy to find any pattern, almost any pattern over there. So I'm just going to use what I found on Pinterest. The very vintage looking ones, the ones that you have to stitch on the paper. They're absolutely gorgeous and beautiful, and I cannot wait to start those. And then something like this, completely like, I mean, it's a book characters, you know, so they should be so kind of cartoony, but I think it's going to look very, very nice, because I also want to get like a little twinkle lights, and the rope that I'm going to hang those on kind of twist in between and get that atmosphere. And I just love Harry Potter, and I love the month of October for it. But technically 2 finishes, but technically now, because I have to do 10 more. But that's another thing that I cross-stitched this week. There's going to be one more project that I'm cross-stitching on plastic, and I want to talk about this right here. If you also like to cross-stitch on plastic, you can find this on Etsy. All I did, I just typed in magnetic hoops, and whatever pops in, I ordered. They are not cheap, unfortunately. They are very, very pricey. But the thing with plastic hoop, the plastic canvas, when you stitch in it, you see how flimsy it is? And sometimes your wrists getting tight over here. I just went like this. It's there. I mean, if I want to, I can pull it, but it's strong. It's very more it's way more comfortable to have a grip on it, and the needle and the floss not gonna be so flimsy. Like, it's very easy to work on. Compare if it's without the hoop. It's still possible to work without the hoop, but I do think that's something that I would recommend to anybody. Also, these hoops I use for my mill heel when I cross stitch mill heel on a paper. That case, I feel like you almost have to have them, because plastic, I mean, you can damage it, but it's, you know, it's plastic. Paper is very easy to damage, especially if your hands getting a little bit sweaty when you cross stitching. So I feel like something hoop like this, it's very, very must have. I also like how it has magnets, and I just can park my needle over here. This probably not gonna stick to it, but my metal scissors I also get. Oh no, look, even this one's, I mean, not a good grip because they have, but no, even this one's they're going to hold. So it's very comfortable, very convenient, especially I like because I can use it as my holder for the needles also. But yeah, just go ahead on Etsy, type in magnetic hoop, and whatever the best price you see, just highly recommend it. I am thinking about ordering one more, so I can have one at home and one at work. I do cross stitch at work when I have time for it, but yeah, highly, highly recommended. Not only it's practical, it's also very beautiful. They also have different sizes. I did get the biggest one because again, the mill hill, you do need for the bigger mill hill, bigger squares. But if you like a minis from Mill Hill, they do have a smaller size for the hoops. And talking about Mill Hill, I started this week Fairy Garden. Here's the preview. And for the longest time, I did not pay attention to this project because of the preview. I thought there's barely any beads they're using. Like on the preview, what you can see, maybe salmon mushrooms in their dresses, but like on the preview, that's it. I'd never pay attention closely. Turns out it has a lot of beads, and when I saw somebody stitching it on Flosstube, I'm like, okay, now I'm ready for it because I want to play with all of this. And actually beads, if you pay most closely attention, not like I did, they are everywhere. In mushrooms, the greens, look at these parts right here, it's all going to be beads. And of course a cute dragonfly right in the middle over there. But you know, Mill Hill comes on perforated paper. This one is blue. But again, I saw, it's not my idea, somebody online cross-stitching on a fabric with lutex in it. I do have this kind of fabric over here too, and you can, maybe you can see, maybe not, but it has like a opalescent, which I think very, very fitting for the fairies. So that's the first change I did. The second change I did, all the background stitching, like all the white, very light blue, all the way till dark blue, I've decided to do a half stitch instead of the full stitch. And the reason why I decided to do so, it's to pop all the beads, the greens, the mushrooms, and the fairies themselves more on the front, and put the background where it's supposed to be on the background. And if I didn't like it at the end, I always, you know, can cross stitch on top of it and make it a full stitch, or maybe go with the 2 strings of floss over the half stitch that I already did more to emphasize it. As for right now, it's the hardest Mill Hill I've ever worked on. In the past, last year, I only did like 3 Mill Hills, but this one, the pattern, it's a little bit difficult to read. Same method of parking. Please ignore this. I know it's not very aesthetically pleasing, but this is the fastest way for me to work, the more convenient way for me to work, and at the end, it's going to be a beautiful finish, and it's all that matters. But new start, and here's the progress that I did in 1 week. I'm going to film this like this so you can see that opalescent sparkling that the fabric has. And that's another reason why I decided that I wanted to background and half stitch. I hope that because it's going to be made in a half stitch, that sparkling going to pop through and give this more like magical, mysterious vibe, because you know, fairies, magic. But that was the reasoning for that. Hopefully I'm going to finish at least stitching part next week, but again, I already have so many plans. What happens happens. But yeah, so far this is my progress. And if you never cross stitch Mill Hill, let me show you something so you prepared. When you get a kit, all the floss that you're getting, they come in one knot. You have to separate all the floss by yourself. And again, not only this Mill Hill has the most difficult so far pattern that I met in Mill Hill kits, it has the most difficult name description. So it does, thank you for giving us actually a number of the DMC floss. So if you have a full palette or maybe a palette book at home, you can easily match and easily separate. Or you can separate by looking at the names. And when it says like light green, dark green, pink, light pink, it's kind of easy, but it was very, very funny with blues. Let's see. We have very dark blue, medium blue, very light blue, very light blue, and very, very light blue. All palette of blues. So the dark, the super dark, the medium was easy to separate. This is this 3 that you see over here. This part was fun, but shockingly, I did it without even looking at my palette. My eye was able to separate light, very light, and very, very light blue. The funny thing, the kit also has white, and separating this from white was not quite a pleasant journey, but I was able to do it, and I'm just keeping white and separate, not on the palette. But these ones I also ordered from AliExpress. They came in a pack full of like 10. I like to use them for my meal hills, so I just copy the symbol, right? So if it's 2, it's a medium blue. I copy a symbol. So when I look at the pattern, I don't have to keep looking in the color code side. I can just open the pattern and grab my organizer and work on it. So that's how I do all my meal hill kits so far that I worked on. It does take me about maybe 20-30 minutes depending on the how hard it is to separate the floss, and then drew this by hand and just stick it with the tape, but it's worth it. That helps me in the future with my process, and yeah, that's just how I do it. And to show you beads a little bit closer, so over here we have 3 different shades: pink, like see-through pink, and then the petite green, and there's another petite green and very beautiful purple. And if you are a fan of Mill Hill, which I am, they recently updated them buttons. Right now there's no more ceramic buttons. All new made kits going to come with, I believe it's just another button company buttons. So no more ceramic true Mill Hill buttons. I'm feeling okay with that. Not on all of my Mill Hills I put button on. I like how you definitely have to do it, and that is the last step. So when I'm going to finish this one, I will see if I even want it there. I'm afraid it's gonna grab all the attention, but see, it's completely different. This is the original ceramic Mill Hill buttons, and that's the new buttons they put. It's more like a butterfly, yeah, some kind of night beetle, where this is obviously a dragonfly. We'll see. Have to stitch the main part first to see even if I want it there. But let's move on to the next whip. But Mill Hill doesn't even come close by difficulties with Teresa Wentzler. I am participating in the style of Teresa Wentzler. We bunch of girls, we picked whatever we want to stitch by Teresa Wentzler, and we're stitching it. This is my first project ever, and so far it's a very fun experience. I was able to purchase on eBay the cross-stitch kit Lily Maiden by John Lynn. You can find magazines or a booklet by itself without the floss or fabric. I was lucky enough to find a full kit. This one is actually the most popular one that you can find for a very good price, for like $20 up to $30 on an eBay. But before you run and purchase it, let me show you a little tiny snippet of how the pattern look, and then maybe you will change your mind. Not showing you full pattern, but this is how her patterns look, because she drew them by hand and then they just made a copy of it. Not only that, I'm showing you upside down. Not only that, She uses lots of 1/4 and 3/4 stitches, like you see right here, on this one right here. But it's not that horrible. It just takes a little bit more concentration and a little bit more time. But the results I see so far, so worth it. I usually, when I work on her, so each first of the month, we have to like send our progress in a group chat. So I work usually a Wednesday before whatever the first of the month is going to be, because Wednesday it's my day off and I like to spend, if I can, a whole day on it, or like whatever the free time period I have, because I need to be relaxed, I need to be in a good mood. And then stitching goes just beautifully. My cat lay on this fabric, so ignore it. But the kit came with Aida cloth, which I don't understand why, because this stitching has lots of 3/4 and 1/4, and yes, you can do it on Aida, but it's very not convenient. So in this kit, I did switch the fabric to the 28 count even weave. And here is so far my progress. Again, same method of parking my thread. You know, now when I'm filming the YouTube, I look at it and I'm not liking how it's look in the frame. So maybe I will stop doing it, so when I show you my progress, it looks more presentable. But as you can see, I am stitching on a 28 count, just to compare it to Aida and this fabric, huge difference. Lots of cranny is used. Lots of blending is used. I almost finished with this green part right here. I just need to finish the flowers to back stitching and I'll be done. I do want to stitch everything first and only then move on to this back frame that you can see. I want to concentrate on the main part right now. And I am right here right now. Her wings are stitching very interestingly. So what you're doing first, there's particular blend that you're using, and you're doing a half stitch, and then you take 2 strands of cranny and you doing another half stitch on top of that, like closing your cross, and it gives that beautiful effect of shiny, sparkling, magical wings. You see how it sparkles right there? So I cannot wait to work more on it, have more progress, so the picture is showing a little bit more clear. But there is my project so far. And for how difficult it is, I am loving it. And I would like to show you how I organized the floss for this project, because there's lots of blends. Almost all of this, it's blends. This floss organizers, maybe not the most comfortable to storage because they are very bulky, but for something like this, it's the most comfortable floss organizer I have. First of all, you can park your needle over here. And in projects like this, I do like to work with multiple needles, meaning, so for example, I'm stitching and I still have a good piece of the floss left. So instead of taking it out, separating the floss, put them on the organizer, grabbing another floss, put in the needle, I just park it across of the symbol where it connected to. And then if I completely finish, I have just a simple empty needle, I just grab whatever next color I need. But if I have a good leftover, I don't separate it, I just keep it as it is. So next time I need it, it's already ready for me to use. Another thing that I did, I braided, and it's very easy to pull, nothing is getting ripped or ruined, it's very easy. And what else I did, if it's a blend, for example, this symbol right here, it's a blend of 504 and 524. So I put 504 on this side, 524 on this side. So when I get to this point where I need it, I just grab the floss from here, blend them, and there we go. Some symbols, as you can see, it's not a blend, it's 2 separate colors, and I just put them the same way. But if it's a blend, I copy this symbol like over here, here, so I know that's the blend I need to use. And this took me maybe an hour, if not more, to do, but because of this, the process, it just flies. Over here, I believe it's like 19.4 or something like that. Almost 20% of the work is done, and I only spent 3 days in it. And for how particular this work is, I think it's a very good result. It's a very good timing, speeding, whatever. Like, if not all of this, it will probably take me way longer. If you use AliExpress, just type in Floss Organizer and it's going to be one of the first that pops in. They are like, I bought them, I think $3.50 or $4 per piece. I do have couple. I find the quality is great, but again, I didn't really use them that much. So far, this type of organizer I only use in a Lily Maiden, but I love it. It's so comfortable. Again, it's not the most convenient way to storage it because it does take a lot of space, but I'm fine with it. I'd rather have it be bulky, but helping me in the process than otherwise. But there you go. There's another whip that I worked this week. Okay, let's talk about this fan over here. This is the original name. It's Снежная Королевская, but you can translate it as a Snowy Kingdom. This is going to be hopefully a set of the Christmas ornaments on my tree of this year. This one I did last year, and I did not like the fabric I used. Unfortunately, I do not know what fabric it is. It's soft, but it's very see-through. And the stitches that you need to do, it's I don't like how it looks. It looks very uneven and sloppy. So I put it away, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that. That was the experience. It was my first time working on stitches that more like embroidery than cross stitching, but I don't like how it looks like. I just don't. So then I went to Hobby Lobby and I purchased this even weave 28 count from Hobby Lobby. If this one was too soft, this one was so hard. Just let me show you something. It was a whole journey with this project. I collecting the elements for a month. But you need to work with DMC metallic, and by chart you need this one E135. Look what this fabric did to this floss. Do you see this yellow over here? It's not supposed to be like that. This fabric was so hard that after a couple stitches and I will pull the floss through, it will literally rip the metallic to the million little pieces like this. So I washed it, but it's still very hard, but it's a little bit easy. However, I really like how this looks on this fabric. So I think in the future, I am going to soak it in the water a little bit longer, and then hopefully it will get to the result that I want. So again, by the chart, you're supposed to use Swarovski crystals, but I'm not spending those kind of money. So I found a dupe on AliExpress that cost me $4 for an entire pack or something like that. And I'm not finished this one yet. There's also going to be used Mill Hill beads. Exactly the same ones that I'm using on a winter snowfall that I showed you a little bit earlier. And then the beads are going to go around each crystal, and then this part also need to be backstitched like this one's over here. And then it's going to be in a circle shape. And I'm going to make a pin keep out of it. I already bought like a velvet fabric for the background. And I think this is going to look absolutely gorgeous on a Christmas tree. And if they're gonna be too big on a Christmas tree, I think I'm going to use them as a decoration for the stairs or anywhere in the house. I mean, absolutely beautiful. You definitely can see it's not Swarovski, but I'm not mad on the quality. I mean, it's not scratched. It gives you a beautiful sparkle. And in my head, I'm already thinking, what other colors I can use, you know, because the E135, it was in the chart, the one that the designer wants you to use, but you can pick any, absolutely any colors and just make your own combination. This is Moulinet DMC 211, or yes, it's this one right here. The white one, you also can use DMC or Perle, which I used Perle, also DMC size 8 or 12, 8, size 8. And then the metallic. So far, I find Kreinik is way more pleasant to work with. Also, recommendations, never use big cuts of the floss of metallic, even if you work with a Kreinik. It's not pleasant to work with. So it's not a complication with this project. You have to use a short length of the floss, meaning you have to fix it, park it more often. And with metallic, it's not a picnic. But I'm looking forward to finish this one and making at least 2 more, maybe, to have a little set. But it's so Christmassy, so elegant, and it's something different, you know. It's not stitching, it's literally just embroidering and back stitching, and I like the sparkle in it. So these two, this one I bought on AliExpress, and it says E135, and it was promoted as a dupe for DMC. And I used it on here, and it's not as sparkly as the original. It has a similar transition from like that. Let me try to show you maybe on white. It has a similar transitioning of colors from that blue, purple, yellow, green, but DMC, the original, it's way brighter, where this dupe, it's more faded, and I do prefer this one. So I live in the middle of nowhere, hello from Wyoming, and I cannot just easily go to Hobby Lobby or any other craft store because we don't have it here, and I don't have nothing near me. So that's why I placed an order from the AliExpress, because it was the same time when I was placing the order for all the gems, and I thought, well, might as well order it. But then we went for the trip, and I was able to find in Michael's, not in a Hobby Lobby, in Michael's, the original. But before that, we went to Hobby Lobby, and I found this one by didnt, and this one is also kind of similar to the DMC that chart is calling for, but DMC has more transitioning. DMC has pink and blue, where this one is just mostly green and yellow. It does have pink, but it's like on camera you barely can even see it. Where DMC, it's more rainbowy, like more rainbow colors. So I can totally see why the designer asked for the DMC, particularly this color. It's very interesting, very unique, very celebrating, very Christmassy, New Year, all of that. But definitely in the future, if I ever finish the whole series of it, I want to try to make same ornaments with the different colors, and maybe with Kreinik this time, because the DMC metallics, they are complicated. Let's talk about the finish that I have this week. This bunny, I literally started yesterday on April 1st, and the same day I finish it. Let's put something maybe white on the background so you can see it more bunny. My friend gifted me the gift certificate for this designer, and that's what I exchanged it for. A couple more things I also got, but this bunny, I really like him. He's very cute. It was very easy stitch. Obviously, I did it in one evening. Not evening, a whole day. I stitched half of it in the morning, and then the beading part I finished at night. I used Mill Hill that again I had in my stash. Very happy on using my stash. So white is a white for $4.79, and for this teal green beads, I use this 2008, and then you just need one black bead, and then Mill Hill black bead number, it's 02014. So here was my start and finish of this week. What I'm thinking I'm going to do, I need to dig in my stash and see what kind of felt I have. I need to find my glue. And what I'm going to do, I need to go to the grocery store and get like spikes for the shish kebabs, the wood ones, because again, we don't have any craft store near us. And I think I'm going to put behind the felt that stick, and it's going to be a flower decoration, something that we can stick into the flower, or I like to use a fake flowers as a decorations in our house. Maybe part of it will be very cute too. So that's my plans for this one. Hopefully, again, I will be able to do it next week, but who knows what next week going to bring us. But yeah, if you have not cross stitched on plastic yet, I highly recommend it. Look at the stitches. They are so even. It's such a pleasant to stitch on plastic. Also, with lots of projects that I have, lots of them, most of them are bigger size, and it's needed sometimes a quick start and finish, something, you know, satisfying, because again, most of my projects are big and it feels like never ending stitching, never seeing any progress. So something small like this, or Mill Hill, it's something that I constantly have in my rotation to give me that motivation to keep going. I don't know, I like it. He's very cute. I am going to dig in and see what I have in my stash charms like, because I think if I put a little bit charm over here, that would be really cute. Maybe like a flower or something, so it's gonna look like he's holding something behind his back as a little present. So I have some flowers, so I think I'm gonna add a little flower over here, but I will give you an update on it when or if I'm going to do it. Another big start of this week, it's Magic Needle. I'm going to put a preview for you. And this is my first time ever stitching on Belfast, so this is the 32nd count. It's vintage blue, so I hope the camera shows you. It's not evenly colored in blue, it has like a white spots, and because it's going to be, you know, flowers with birds, I feel like it's going to give that effect of the sky. It is my first experience with Belfast, and as for right now, I don't think I'm ever going to work on a Belfast ever again. I don't like how see-through it is. I feel like my stitches, it's kind of like, it's hard to stitch in it because I'm not happy with how my stitches are looking. I feel like they're very uneven. It looks like I've never cross-stitched in my life before, and I don't know. Like, see this white right here, it's not the most perfect stitches that I receive, but over here it's only, I think, 8% done. I'm definitely going to keep stitching it, hopefully finish by the end of May. The bees are super cute, they're fluffy. There's barely any backstitch going to be in this project. Also, not only it's my first time stitching on Belfast, it's my first time stitching a Magic Needle kit. So far, no questions, very easy read pattern, very pretty fabric or floss. The fabric that came, it was Aida, I don't remember the count, but it was a blue color too. And because it's not a full stitch project, I did switch it to the even weave like fabric, so those big Aida squares not that noticeable. Again, I think the more I stitch, the more I'm going to get used to this fabric, but also look how wrinkly it is. Like, it's a new experience for me, that's for sure. So far, Lugana is my favorite fabric, or a simple even weave. I'm not a fan of how very see-through it is, because when I cross stitch, I don't really care about the way how the back looks. The only thing I care about is not to have any knots. And with the fabric that's so see-through, you cannot do a long with the fabric that's see-through like this, you cannot do a long, like if there would be a flower over here with the green, even if it was just like couple stitches down, I have to park my thread and completely start a new stitch over here, otherwise it's gonna be totally seen. But here's the progress, and I think we have just one more left and that would be it for this week. This is Magic Realms by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. Thank you so much, Caterpillar Cross Stitch, for including me into your SAL. This is the second SAL by them that I was invited to and participating. They were kind enough to send me everything that you see. So they sent me the fabric, they sent me the floss, and then this beautiful needle miner as a dragon. It's a Year of the Dragon. It's a magic realm theme, and it's amazing. It's a very strong magnet. Talking about fabric, if the Belfast is not for me, don't know what kind of fabric it is, on the packaging it just says even weave. This is the best fabric I've ever cross-stitched on. I am extremely happy the way how my stitching looks. So SAL, it's very fun to participate. I believe you still can join us if you will. On the end of each month, like in the 20th, like 23rd, 24th, you're getting a part of the pattern. So I still don't know what's going to happen over here. So the first were the dragons, then we got mermaids, and now we have fairies. So funny enough, I have two different fairies this week to stitch. First was the Mill Hill that I showed you earlier, and now this one. There's all I have to stitch is there two more fairies over here, and this is also going to be done. So easy to stitch. They send you a part of it at the end of each month. It's a PDF file, and open on any device you want. It's so easy to stitch on. I'm having so much fun with it. It's definitely my relaxed stitch because you just grab one color and you're stitching whatever you want with that, and it's just like painting by the numbers but with cross stitches. So the dragons are completely finished. The mermaid, this one is not finished because in my head I thought the next part going to be something over here. So when I'm gonna move my hoop, you know, I'm going to, whatever color I work with, I'm going to incorporate over here, but they move over here. So I think I'm going to finish the fairies and then I'm just gonna come back and finish the mermaid by herself. But again, it's a DMC floss. I wish to know what kind of fabric it is. It says online, I even double check, it's just 32 even weave. That's all it says. But compared to the previous whip I showed you, these stitches, they are so nice looking ones. I love it. Well, thank you so much. That was it for this week. That's what I stitched in 1 week. Hopefully you liked it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I definitely already have lots of plans for next week. Hopefully I will not lose the drive for cross stitching, because some weeks I'm very productive, like I think I was this week, and some weeks I'm very passive, almost like maybe 2 projects in a week, that will be enough for me. So we'll see you next week. Please say hi in the comments. Please leave your suggestions. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and have a great stitchy week.